How did people react to you around campus?
So in general, people around campus were pretty helpful and friendly, and um, I think some people knew about the assignment from previous years, especially faculty, but students, a lot of the freshmen, sophomore students who saw me around did not know, and they were very concerned and opening doors for me. But in the community, since I grew up in Penn Yan and I went to school here, it was a challenge when I was out in the community. I wasn't embarrassed because it takes a lot to embarrass me, but I just, it was constant people stopping me and asking me what happened. So I had to explain and be honest and say, this is an assignment for school and I'm fine. Don't worry. And you don't have to call my mom and ask how I'm doing. So that was interesting. But one thing that really stuck out to me that happened on campus was um, a young man who was walking with his friends on the sidewalk between the buildings. So I assume he was a Keuka College student. He yelled out to me, "Nice retard helmet." And then he and his friends laughed. So again, it didn't embarrass me, but it made me feel very sad for, the next couple of classes that day. I just kept thinking there's people who they can't take the disability off after 2 days. This is something that they're living with all the time, or at least for months or years. So that was um that was an interesting thing that happened.
What did you learn in general from the experience of using the mobility device to get around?
So what I learned in general is just how frustrating it can be to use a mobility device, and I was surprised at how I felt emotionally in those 2 days. It felt like something unfair had happened to me, and it was really bad timing, and I didn't want it to happen to me. I wanted somebody else to take it from me. And I think that's probably how a lot of our clients are going to feel when they're in the middle of grad school and they get in a car accident or, whatever. Life is always happening, and sometimes the timing of your disability doesn't line up with your life plans. And that's something that Sammy is experiencing right now, unfortunately. So, um, that's probably the biggest thing I learned is just the level of frustration I experienced really surprised me, and I found myself being very angry and just, generally pissed off mood for most of the time. Um, there's nothing more frustrating than just trying to walk and you can't because of a tiny little pebble it's in your way. So yeah, just being patient of people who have mobility issues or barriers to ambulating independently and including them and walking with them because they have to take a longer route to get to wherever they're going. So walking with them would be nice instead of just saying, "Oh, see you in class," and going the most direct way. Just go with them because they'll like that.
Did you make any adaptations to your assistive device?
I did. I actually found a basket down in room GO4 where we got the equipment. So the basket fit right onto the front of the rolling walker, and that changed my day. It was halfway through the first day. I said, there has to be something I can do. I went into the room to get some stockinette to adapt the helmet because the chin strap was very itchy and it was making a red mark. I was afraid it was going to take the skin off. So I covered that with some stockinette that I cut from the roll, and then I found the basket. And that really made everything so much easier because I could access my cell phone, my wallet, and I clipped my car keys, which have a mountaineering clip on them, to the side of the basket. So I had everything that I needed right there, and I could still use my backpack when I got to class. I could take it off. So that's how I adapted my equipment.
Please list specific challenges of accessibility that you encountered.
So the biggest barrier to accessibility that I encountered was tiny rocks and seams in the sidewalk, like any kind of crack. They put those cracks in the sidewalk for purely aesthetic purposes. They don't need to do that when they're pouring the concrete. They do that to make it look like it's the old pieces of slate that used to make up sidewalks. So it's really a challenge for people who are using a rolling walker or a wheelchair or what have you. It would be easier in a wheelchair, but the wheels are so small, so even a tiny pebble gets under the wheel, and then the walker, um, tips forward. So I would hit a tiny pebble and then just feel like my nose is going to hit the pavement. So really, it made me think about redesigning rolling walkers to be safer. Because if you're weight bearing at all on the walker, like even just using it to steady yourself, you will just tip right forward encountering anything. They really should design rolling walkers with a triangular piece that goes out in front. So two metal pieces with some type of a caster wheel, so that like an anti-tipper wheel in the front. And the reason why I say triangle is so that you would have space to step without stepping on it. That's something I thought about every 5 minutes or less.
What did you learn about doing self-care during the experience?
So the helmet didn't really fit me well. It was too big, which is shocking because I have a big head. So it was slipping around. It was slipping down into my face and it was slipping over to the side and it just looked goofy and wonky on me. So I actually tried a bunch of different things. I tried putting a scarf under there, but the scarf is too soft and silky, so it slipped off of my hair. And then I tried using a towel as per Diana's suggestion, but the towel was too big, so the chin strap was too tight and it was painful. So then I said, okay, I have this pair of gloves, which is somewhere in between. So I put the gloves so that the grippy palms were up and down. So the grip was here and then it was facing the helmet. And that actually helped the most. And then the helmet was annoying me so much at one point that I actually took really small washcloths and had them like shoved up in the side to hold it in place. But what I learned was that comfort wins over aesthetics. So I didn't do my makeup on those days because I didn't have time and I didn't care. And that's a first for me, leaving the house completely barefaced. And I also did not do anything special to my hair to make it look good under the helmet because, again, I didn't have time and I didn't care. And I was already running so late for everything that it just, I just tried to be comfortable and try to stay dry, which was difficult. And that was really the priority. So it makes you think about people who have disabilities who maybe look a little different, or they might not be groomed as well as you would think that they should be, or you might judge that they should be. And all that stuff takes extra time when you have a mobility issue. So they might be choosing to not do it because they're just caught up in the tasks of just basic living. So I'm glad that I had my friend here because
Abby forgot to turn off the greasy pan and take it off of the heat.
After the bacon was done, the heat was still on medium for a good few minutes until I'm lucky Sam noticed because, I need a few extra reminders after my TBI. This is how I'm cleaning the floor because if I get down, I don't think I can get back up, so just got the napkin wet, dropped it, and then now I'm mopping.
How you gonna get it off the floor?
I don't know. See, this is the thing with when you have these kind of disabilities that are related to mobility, you really have to think about the whole thing before you start doing it, or else you'll get to the point where you cook yourself breakfast and you can't carry the plate to the table. Or you mop the floor and there's no friend there to pick up the dirty napkin.